Hi, my name is Jeremy, and I've been captain with YWAM Medical Ships in Papua New Guinea since 2010. I'm here in Port Moresby today, the capital of Papua New Guinea, which is located just north of Australia. You can see here on Google Earth where Papua New Guinea is located, and today I'm over in Port Moresby, the capital city. But over the last 14 years with YWAM Medical Ships, we've been serving from the border between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea with West Papua here, coming all the way across through several of these provinces, right up around to this part of the coast. And in the last few years, we've been focusing in the western province. This is the Torres Strait here. All of these islands in the Torres Strait are Australian territory, including these two islands here, Boigu and Saibai. But this is the mainland of Papua New Guinea, one of the largest islands in the world. And along this coast, which is about 130 nautical miles long, a lot of the coast, well, actually most of it, is insufficiently surveyed for safe navigation. When we look at TIMEZERO, see here, all those red dots are actually villages all across the western province. But here when we zoom in, when we have the zone of confidence indicators turned on, some places it looks pretty good, here with 4 stars. But as we get in closer and closer, we start to realize there's a lot of these unsurveyed areas in the gray. The 3 stars is the zone of confidence Charlie, which means that positions could be plus or minus 500 meters on the horizontal or plus or minus 2 meters on the vertical. Our draft is 2 meters, so if something is wrong if the charted depth is off by 2 meters, that could be quite significant for us. So, or if it's in a different position by 500 meters. So pretty much any of these places, zone Charlie there with the 3 stars, and zone Delta, which is just described as worse than Charlie, and then U is simply unsurveyed. Basically, those are all areas that you go at your own risk. And so over the years, we would make it as far as Daru Island here, which is the capital of the western province. But we knew there were many villages further along the coast that we wanted to get to, and there was just no way with the charted information, with the hydrographic information that was available to safely go through here. In fact, the first time we were working our way down the coast using TIMEZERO with a DFF 3D in our small boat and then with a WASP in the ship, we had worked our way down the coast surveying days in advance, and then in the evening we actually came and anchored down off of this village of Mabudu on here. And we were hearing Australian search and rescue talk to a ship that was aground, and when the sun came up the next morning, we discovered that there was a cargo ship that was aground right in here. And on the charted information, it shows this reef here, but it turns out it's actually up here, and this is where that ship was aground. So it was an object lesson to us of the importance of using this system. So what we've done is we've put a DFF 3D into one of our 12-man Zodiacs, or 12-person Zodiacs, and we send it out in front of the ship a day or two in advance and figure out where we can go. And one of the things we concluded was there was just no way that we could get through this area. But we did find a path around here, as you might expect, based on the contour color shading available from the ENCs. But when you really start to drill in on that and see what the waters look like, we see that, this looks pretty good in through here. But, well, actually, this was one of those moments where you're grateful to learn from it and hope to not repeat it. But we did discover an area in here that was very shallow and not charted at all. But we just a few meters away, just down here, what's that about? Well, 400 to 500 meters away. There's plenty of deep water, and we've now got that as a safe path that we know we can come and go through anytime. So anyway, what you see here is, let's see, the way I've got it set up for the time being is that all of this data that looks like this, and we'll go ahead and turn on our PBG soundings. This is all information that we collected from the DFF 3D. And through this area, there are enough tide stations that the tide correcting information in the DFF 3D results in pretty good information. Further along the coast, there aren't any nearby tide stations, so we're really just recording the depth under the boat as we saw it. But certainly in our case with a 2-meter draft, when we're seeing depths of 20 meters, 2 meters this way or that, the difference in the tide is negligible for us. So anyway, all of these dots and numbers, that's all from the DFF 3D. So we've gone back and forth and found a path that's okay to use for the ship. And then as the ship goes through there, then using our WASP system and recording into TIMEZERO, then we're able to record much higher resolution and with a wider path, a safe track through there. So each time we go through, we run down the edge and widen this out a bit further. And now we've actually got data, well, along about 120 nautical miles all along this coast. Probably the minimum width we've got is around 200 meters and up to about 700 meters wide. And so all through here now we can safely operate. And so back in this area where there was that reef that cargo ship was on, under here, we've discovered there's actually plenty of deep water. And in all this area where it's the zone delta, just a really high-risk area, we've been able to record that there's heaps of deep water there. And with color scales, which we set up in here in this fishing window, we can see that basically, if it's red, we shouldn't be there at all. If it's orange, we still shouldn't be there, but we might make it through. If it's yellow, we should be paying close attention. And when it's green, then we can breathe fairly easy, and blue, don't have to sweat it too much. So it's nice to be able to adjust the color codes in that sort of way. And but back to the navigation screen here. So anyway, this is the sort of imagery that we've been able to put together. And here there's a village just in here, the Sigabaduru, and we figured out that there's a bit of a shelf here that's comfortable to anchor in. We don't need to anchor out here where it's 30 meters deep, but up in here where it's sort of 10 to 15 meters deep, there's a nice comfortable anchorage with enough of a swing circles so that when the tides change, we know we've got a good anchorage all the way across there. But one of the things that's quite interesting and certainly a game changer for us, this whole section of the coast up here, the hydrographic information was showing in the neighborhood of sort of 0 to 4 meters, and often closer to 0 to 2 meters. And it just didn't look like there was any way that we were going to be able to get the ship up to here. But we discovered, with the small boat going ahead of us, this really amazing deep passage that, so far we've got it recorded out to about 700-800 meters wide. And there's actually it seems to be like an underwater channel or canyon that runs through quite a lot of that for dozens of miles. But so that comes across up here and then into this section. We've been able to bring the ship around up here, and we've found a way around this reef section in the middle here, up through into the entrance of this river. When we jump over to Google Earth and look around here, this is the river here. And we're actually able to come in and anchor up here. And then we send a small boat all the way up this river. And we're able to bring help, medical support up to some of the communities along here and up into here. And then we've been able to take the ship further along the coast, all the way out to the last village before the Indonesia border. So it's a pretty powerful system. There's a lot of options, a lot of different things you can configure. But yeah, it's enabled us to get to all of these villages and bring medical support in places where, to a large extent, there's really no regular medical assistance. And so that's TIMEZERO and how it works for us on the YWAM Medical Ship.